And hello, and welcome to Politics, Prose, and Pop Culture. I'm Rashonda Tate Billingsley.
And I'm Victoria Christopher Murray, and we are back for a minute. I hope we're back permanently, but we're back, Rashonda.
We're back for a minute. We're going to get to a point where we can do this regularly, but we're just both so busy. You more than anybody I've ever seen. We both used to have some busy schedules, but you're on a whole other level now.
Yeah, I just got back from the Bahamas, so that was
Must be
good
nice.
because the week before I was in Canada. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, right?
Right. So that's why we had to come pop in because I don't know if you've seen, but the commercials for Wrath, one of the seven deadly sins, has come out, and people may have questions. And so we're here to give some answers.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because the very first two films, Lust and Envy, Lifetime did an amazing job of sticking close to the books. Wouldn't you agree with that? They were close
Absolutely.
to
Absolutely.
they were close to the stories. But what was so interesting was with Greed and Wrath, they had to change up for very different reasons.
So
And there's
let's
one
start with
big
Victoria.
change.
Let's start with telling people. Now, this is the book we're talking about. This is Wrath. This is one of your seven deadly sins. So, real quick, what is this book about?
Okay, so this book is about, I always say, where passion meets rage. It's about two flawed people who come together in a relationship, Chastity and Xavier, but he has some rage problems. He really does love her, but because of things that happened in his past, he is filled with rage, with wrath, and it affects their relationship.
All right. And so this is the third movie that's being made on Lifetime. Now tell us about the movie Wrath.
Yeah, the movie is very different. I think the only thing that people will recognize are the characters' names, and not even all of them, because her mother's name was Cicely in the book, and I think they changed it to Sarah. I guess Cicely was too exotic for them or whatever. But it's still about Chastity. She's still an attorney, and she meets Xavier, but in the movie, Xavier is white.
So let's go back to this. So that's what the who the white guy is in there.
That's the white guy. The white guy is Xavier. And they decided to change it to white. And a lot of it had to do with TD Jakes and his brand, too, which I kind of thought was my brand, but changed it to his brand, too, because neither one of them, Lifetime nor TD Jakes, wanted to show a black man on screen being angry and abusing someone. And so it's hard to argue with that. You know what I mean? It's really
Mhm.
hard to, because they said there are enough negative images. Now, to me, my book didn't have any negative images of that. There was a
Mhm.
reason, but they don't get as much time to explain the story as I do.
Well, so tell us now, who is the mother? Let me pull that back up there because a lot of people may have been looking and been like, wait a minute, is that Beyonce's mama?
That's Beyonce's mama, Tina Knowles. Tina Knowles. She's had some other acting positions, but that's Tina Knowles. Tina is the mother in the book. Chastity, and this is an interesting combination because Chastity is Michelle, and she's been Michelle's kind of substitute mama for how many years? So
Mhm.
that's fine. And then Romeo Miller, Romeo is no longer little Romeo, and he's an amazing actor. And then Xavier is played by this really cool, I think his first name is Anthony, guy, a Canadian actor.
All
It's a,
right. And so who are is that Lisa Ray and Eric Benet, or that's the other movie?
that's the other movie.
See, you just have so many we can't keep up. All right, let's everybody's asking. So in this scene, what do we see here in this scene?
This is the mother and father, Chastity's mother, and so Wrath is on the left, Greed is on the right. So this is Chastity's mom and dad, very, very, very concerned about her. because she's missing.
And tell us what was it like in Vancouver filming this movie?
Yeah, now this is interesting because I only spent about 3 days in Vancouver when we were doing Wrath, but I did spend 2 weeks in Vancouver when we were doing Greed. So even though I got to meet all the cast, and Romeo's amazing. He just like wanted to hang out with us. Even though I got to meet them, I didn't get to know them as well as I got to know the cast from Greed. Yeah, from Greed.
And what's the biggest difference besides the white guy in Wrath?
You know, you're a lifetime movie watcher, way more than I am. And so I think what I found to be the biggest difference besides switching the characters, and that's a big difference. But one of the biggest things I found is that there's more immediate drama. And what I mean by that is like there's people being kidnapped and locked into trunks, and I don't want to give too much away, but it's a lifetime movie that to me has a lot of drama.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to play devil's advocate for a moment here. I'm an author and I'm looking forward to my books coming to movies, but I'm not about to let them change my story up. What would you say to me?
I would. It's if I. You want to know the PG version?
I was just about to say,
Or
give me
the
the clean
X-rated
version.
version? See, this is what I don't understand about people who say that. Because you have made up a fake story in your head. These are fake people, and you know how to make it pop in a book. They know how to make it pop in a movie. And it's two different things. And if you would not want someone to come to you and tell you how to write your book, don't tell them how to make a movie, because they are so right. There are certain things that can play out in a book because you have more time to explain it, but they can't play out. They got to get to the point quick in the movie. And when they have to get to the point quick, they will change some things. So I have seen people say, "Oh no, I'm not having them do this with my book. They can't change it. This is my book. These are my characters." And I always find that fascinating because number one, nobody's banging down your door. And they're not, so you would rather walk away from the opportunity of more doors opening that rather than going through with this, so that because you can write more fake people. These are fake people. They're not trying to change your life story. These are fake people that you are now losing a career opportunity over. And so, I've seen it happen to too many authors who will. I actually know an author who turned down a deal. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. You're not going to get another deal. There are too many authors. There are too many people that they want to work with. When they find an author that they like, they stick with that author no matter what. They don't even try to go out to find other authors, as you and I have experienced, both when you were working with Regina and even me working with John and everybody now, because there are too many times they run into people that are like, "Oh no, you can't do that. This is my book." It's a book, and the people are fake.
And speaking of things that you cannot do, another one, did you write the screenplay?
I did not write the screenplay. I wasn't interested in writing the screenplay. The people, especially since they were going to change it so much, you and I've taken quite a few screenplay classes, and that may not be our ministry. I think some writers can be all things to all people, but I don't think anybody can be really be all things to all people. And I think one of the things I've discovered is that the gift that God gave me was to be a novel writer. I know people would disagree with that, but I know my gift. I know I'm a great writer, and I know I struggle, as you do, with writing screenplays.
So when you were on the set, one of the things that I found intriguing, and I found this in other authors that have had movies made, The actors actually respect the writer.
Oh my goodness. You know, the writer is almost like the star on the set. Because I'll never forget the first day Sean and I were there for Greed. Monique Coleman walked up and she knew Sean. Everybody knows Sean because Sean Robinson has interviewed all of them. And so then she came to me and she said, "You must be Victoria." And that's what she said. And she said, "The reason that we are all here." And the whole time they were filming, Sean kept saying to me, "Remember, Victoria, you're the reason why we're all here." And so the writers, there would be no actors. Actors wouldn't have anything to act if it didn't start with the concept of a writer.
And finally, before we go, what would be your words of advice to aspiring authors that want to have their movies on Lifetime or anywhere for that matter?
Well, I will tell them that, but can I talk about Greed just for a minute?
Oh, I thought we were coming back for Greed. Of course.
Oh, okay. I wasn't gonna come back. You know we don't come back.
Okay, tell us about Greed.
Yeah, we ain't coming back. So Greed has Monique Coleman, Lisa Ray, Eric Benet, and this really, really cool guy, Nathan, who plays Stefan. He is like one of the coolest people on the planet. And this group, they were all actors. You know, they weren't. I know Eric is a singer, but he has one of those. He is a natural, like Romeo.
Mhm.
They just were such natural actors. And so Greed, they had to change a lot of, because in my book Greed, we didn't have her sleeping with the men. And Lifetime said, "No, that ain't gonna work, Victoria, on TV. We got to do something else."
Mhm.
So they had to change it around. And because these are fake people, I don't have no problem with it. So
And
now,
so
okay,
how
so now,
close is the book to the movie on this go round? And this is the book, Greed.
yes, yes. So the biggest difference is that in Greed, um, in the book, there were a number of different men, but she wasn't involved with any of them. Though with the last guy, it kind of got close. With the movie, they kind of just skipped to the last guy, and they spent a lot of time on her relationship with him. And the last guy in the book is Eric Benet in the movie,
Mm.
and he plays his butt off. And Lisa Ray is Miss Viv. She was so cool. But Monique Coleman and Nathan, I can't pronounce his last name. I think it's Witz. They have my heart. The two of them, those are my babies.
Okay, see, I was supposed to be Miss Viv, but I guess Lisa Ray got a little more experience than me.
She got a little more experience, and girl, she played the heck out of that role.
I
You know
bet
she
she did.
did,
I can't
right?
wait to see it.
And I got to see all kinds of things, like setting a house on fire. And it was 20 degrees outside, but the actors had to pretend that it was summertime. So they were like freezing with no coats on, like they'd have their coat on and right before the scene. It was really cool to watch Greed. I had a lot of fun.
And so you were on set because of what? You were executive producer
I'm a
or what?
consulting producer, but I'm an author, so they don't ask me anything and I don't want to say anything. The actors ask me more than the producers do. Nathan, who plays Stefan, told me that he was a little intimidated when he read the book because I sent him to the gym after he read the book. So that was one thing that I found out too, Rashonda, that I loved, is that a lot of the actors read the book. Even though the book is going to be different than the screenplay, they really want to know the backstory of the characters.
Oh, awesome. I love it. All right, well, when can we see these movies? That's the question everybody wants to know.
Yes, so Wrath will come on before Greed. Wrath is coming on April 16th, and Greed will come on April 23rd. And it's really interesting because you know what I had really wanted to do, and maybe Rashonda, we should still do this. I had wanted to do like a half-hour Zoom or something with readers and writers where I can answer their questions about this. Because you asked a question, and I know we have to go now, but you asked a question about, what advice would I give to people who want to have their books turned into movies? The first thing I would do is that they're looking for books, so keep writing your books and keep writing great books. That's the biggest thing. And then when they come to you, do not be talking about, oh no, no, they're not going to change her, or oh no, he wasn't white, he's white now.
Or no, oh no, I got to direct it if I can't direct it. And they're like, but have you ever directed? No, but it's my book. I've heard that one
It's
also.
Yeah, and then there's the thing with the screenplay. It's my book, I can write the screenplay. No, you can't.
Yeah. Takes a special kind of skill, as we're quickly learning.
It
All right,
really does. So
and you gave us
it,
the dates?
yes, April 16th and April 23rd. Saturday, April 16th and Saturday, April 23rd. Almost exactly a year to the date for Lust and Envy. And so then we'll go to Pride and Gluttony.
So that is awesome. You are living an author's dream. You're having your books made, but I don't think people understand or know just how much, why they want to continue working with you. It's because you understand that you're an author.
I totally understand that I'm an author, and I was trying to decide if, when I wrote my first book, was it my dream to have it made into a movie? And it wasn't. I wanted to write good books. I wanted to win a Pulitzer Prize. And so that's always been my focus, on what kind of things can I achieve in the writing side.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that those are the kinds of books that get picked up.
Wonderful. Well, it has been great. I felt like I got to interview you today. I've been on this journey, but I love hearing other people talk. You being able to share this with other people. But before we go, we know this is politics, prose, and pop culture. So we have a question, kind of that's political, and that is about Brittany Griner. One of our viewers wants to know: do we think she'll be released from Russia?
I don't think she'll be released for a while. She is, what my belief is that she's a political prisoner.
Yeah.
People know now that she's been there for about 3 weeks. And if you count back, that's when he had just first started sending in the troops. He has other Americans there, also detained. I think he thinks that if he took a black person, that the black people, because the Russians who interfere with the elections, they target black people. And I haven't been able to figure out why. It worked in 2016. So maybe they think, so I think they believe that if they have her, that black people will turn on Biden. I'm like, dude, you're the one that took her, not Biden.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she's a political prisoner. There's nobody to even talk to right now, because they're not talking to Americans, because they feel that we are supporting Ukraine. Okay. I think it's going to be tough.
Yep. And I think that we should come back next Tuesday and just talk about all things that happening in current events and in the world, because there's an anti-lynching bill. There's so much we need to be talking about.
I know. Heather and I almost cried together yesterday with the anti-lynching bill passing. Only because of the book we're writing now, and all that the people before us went through to try to get an anti-lynching bill. And this is the first anti-lynching bill that says that lynching is a federal crime ever.
And you still had 3 Republicans vote against it.
Yeah.
Still had 3 Republicans. So yeah, we will have to come back. We are at our 20-minute mark. We don't try to keep you longer. So we will be back here next Tuesday. Victoria, clear your schedule.
I will clear my
schedule. I gotta
schedule.
remember while I tell you.
That's why I was trying to get greedy. And you were like, oh, we're gonna come back. No, we don't come back.
We're going to come back because we also need to talk about Miss Pearlie's girls. So we're coming back.
Yes. Okay, so I can interview you next week about Miss Pearl. Well, I want to do a whole big thing with Miss Pearlie's girls.
All right, we'll get that in the planning as well. But you need to get back to writing, and I need to go and
Yeah, I'm
cook
actually
dinner.
getting ready for a Links event. So
Busy, busy. Thank you all so much for tuning in this episode of Politics, Prose, and Pop Culture. We'll see you back here next week. We're claiming it.
okay, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.